How's it going, guys? It's Nutshell here, and today we have a video on Escape from Tarkov's new event and how you can actually farm it, what you should be looking for when you're doing the event, and where the actual military batteries do spawn, because there's a few locations that you need to look at when you are deciding to do this event. And of course, the raiders are spawning at a 100% spawn rate at all of the locations that we're going to talk about today. So you've got to be quite careful when you are deciding to kind of push in and do this event, especially in some of the locations that we're going to showcase here today. They are especially dangerous. And so the first spot that we're looking at is, of course, new gas. Nades are your biggest friend and they will help you out a ton. So you want to be taking quite a few nades when you are deciding what to do. There are quite a few spawns of where this tank battery can actually spawn. It is 100% spawn though, it's just in different locations. One of the spawns is on top of here. And another spawn is right here, so it's in kind of the corridor area. Of course, raiders will be about, so you want to be very careful, but there's the other spawn right there. So once you've taken out the raiders, it's pretty simple. Raiders AI is not particularly the best in the world, as well as the fact that PMCs do spawn in here as well. Reshala can spawn in here too, so it's really quite a dangerous area for if you are trying to come in, and probably one of my least favorite if I'm gonna actually try and farm this event. I really wouldn't recommend coming into New Gas as the area. There's loads of different angles, and actually making your way into New Gas is just a bit of a pain in the first place. So we'll show off a different area where you can go, and I'll show you the dorms, since dorms is relatively close. And then the last one is Stronghold, but I'll join you back once I actually make it all the way over to dorms. So once you've made it over to the dorms area, rather than going in over there, which is pretty much a very dangerous spot, since the raiders do spawn in building 2 as well, kind of the best way to go in is actually over on the other side nearer the car extract. As well as the fact that then you can clear where the car extract is, so if it does actually spawn in your raid, you can make a quick exit. This one we haven't actually got the car extract, but this is one of the reasons why dorms is the best place to actually farm the raiders themselves, and of course actually farm the military batteries at the same time. So they can spawn in this corridor when you do spawn in here, as well as they can spawn all around. You can also get PMCs that spawn in this area here. You can check over here, there's often actually rare food spawns, which is nice, like whiskeys, vodkas, moonshine, you can find there as well. And then in here, this is really where it can be a bit risky. There can be people on the stairs and they can push up as well. But we want to go up to the 3rd story of dorms. Make sure that you do pre-aim and double check your corners. PMCs can spawn like right here, as well as down the corridor to the right. So we just do a little circle and see if we can see anyone, which we don't. And then we do the exact same on this side, and of course there's no one there. So raiders not actually spawned in. They can spawn in the rooms, as like especially this one here. They do spawn in on the left, as well as around the corners. So we're gonna double check, and there's no one there. Cool. They can spawn around here as well, and they probably can run into these rooms, but probably only if they're actually fighting. And then of course you get some spawns here as well if you want to pick up some extra loot whilst you're on the way. The actual battery though does spawn outside. Now there's a spawn right there on this little plank over here, or the pallet, wooden pallet. You'll also find a spawn right there. So the actual battery is right there. And then round here you'll also find a spawn just down there right in front of the sandbags. But of course the military battery is what you want to get. And so wherever it spawns, go and get it. It's worth about 1.5 million on PvE and worth even more on PvP. Now, you can open the dorms marked room key, but since the recent changes that they've made to marked rooms, the actual key spawn rate was just obliterated. Albeit we have got a blue keycard in this one, it has been obliterated. I mean, I got 1 keycard out of a a full 10 opening, whereas before I was probably averaging about 1 keycard per raid, having the possibility of getting multiple keycards in one raid. And yeah, we basically have been very, very dry, or just essentially they have stealth nerfed the Dorm's Marked Room keys. So be very careful thinking about purchasing the Dorm's Marked Room keys. For example, in order for you to make your money back, you need to average a black keycard every single raid, about 2.6 million at this moment in time. Now, the keys are worth a lot more, so it is potentially worth opening, but at the same time, I lost about 20 million when I opened yesterday's, because we only got a yellow keycard worth about 2 mil, and the rest was just loose loot like this sort of stuff. So if you are wanting to open Dorm's Marked Room keys, be fully aware that there is the possibility of losing tons of money, and I mean tons of money. You could end up with no keycards. I think that they have definitely done something to the spawn rate of keycards in the marked rooms, especially Dorm's Marked Room 314. My best bet to you would be to run the marked room keys on reserve, as this will give you the most money, because whatever you get in those rooms, you will guarantee yourself at least to make your money back. From just simply transferring all of those keys into a Dorm's Marked Room key, and then any key card that you could potentially get out of the 10 uses will be pure profit in your raid. So I have a video on it, you can see that if you're interested, and I'll link it at the end of this one. So raiders can spawn downstairs in the Stronghold, so you want to be quite careful, as well as PMCs, and of course raiders will push you as well. So raiders typically spawn in a group of 3 or 4 roughly in all of the locations, and of course they'll push you afterwards, as you saw just a second ago. So you want to be quite careful about what you're actually doing when you're pushing in, and making sure that you try and pick them off from distance. You can run it on night raids, it might be slightly easier, but for the most part it's not really going to make a huge amount of a difference to you. Just be more cautious than you normally would with a normal scavs. So the batteries themselves can spawn in a variety of different locations. One of them is right here next to a grenade launcher. So the second spawn is on the opposite side of the upstairs of Stronghold. So when you do get up here, you can check in that corner over there, and then over here, and that is pretty much where I found the military batteries when I have pushed in here. But it's getting to the point where we need to get out, and because I do not have the closest of extracts, we need to run quite far, and I don't have any mules or SJ6s to sprint around, so I am going to get out of here as quickly and as easily as possible, and then yeah, hopefully we'll be fine. Not only is this event pretty good for making a ton of money, as you can farm up these raiders quite easily, and of course get all of their gear and loot, but you can also grab up lots of ammunition if you play on PvE or PvP. Either way, lots of ammunition up for grabs, and usually they have some pretty decent ammo. Their guns you can also strip down. You can find yourself various different types of weapons, as well as also picking up some pretty decent ammo. So not the best of ammo in this one, but either way we can take it and throw it into the stash somewhere, and then we're going to make our way over to the RUAF, and then we'll get out of here. Hopefully this guy has slightly better ammo, but I'll catch you when I make it out of the raid or get taken out by PMCs camping at RUAF. Either way, hopefully we'll be able to showcase exactly what the best trades are and everything to do with that once we make it out of this raid. We had to take out 3 PMCs, and of course we managed to make it out either way. So based on how many raiders we've taken out, and also some of the PMCs and various different things along the way, we're guaranteed to get a ton of XP comparatively to your normal raids, where you don't obviously see raiders. But that's not the main reason for this event. Obviously you want to get as many of the military batteries, and of course then make the barter trades to mechanic, which you can pick up keycards, which you can put into the event for the reward that is absolutely massive for anyone that plays PvE, and of course quite fun to use as well if you play PvP, and if you're realizing that it's coming to the end of the wipe and you actually just want to spend some of that money that you've probably been hoarding, then it's definitely worth it for you guys to actually do it, because you can get yourself green flares, which are the acid green flares, which give you the option to make everyone friendly, including the scavs, bosses, and essentially everything on the map except from PMCs, obviously, which is a great way of not only farming bosses if you're after a particular boss to complete something, but of course you can get a wide variety of different items. Now, I've done this run a couple of times, bearing in mind obviously the raids aren't going to take anywhere near as long as these raids did, because I showed you all 3 spots, but you primarily want to be going to the Dorms Marked Room area, and then going up onto the roof to pick up that tank battery. It has the closest extracts. You've got the car extract, you have Smuggler's Boat, which is also right next to Dorms, and then you've got the trailer park as well, which you can go to. The only bad side is if you do spawn over by the trailer park or somewhat close, then you are going to have to run all the way to ZB11, I believe. Anyway, one of the bunkers, or go over to Old Gas. And that's kind of where you have to extract, which can be a bit of a pain, and it's just long, especially if you've got a tank battery. But that is where the mules will come in to effect, as these are one of the best ways to get around the map. When you do have the tank battery, not only the mules, but also making sure that you do have some SJ6s is once again another great way of doing it. So SJ6 and the mules will help you out a lot when you're doing this. They are quite expensive, but entirely worth it if you are actually just trying to do this speedily and get multiple raids done every single hour without really any problem. But of course, Dorms, that is where you want to go, and going in from the car extract side and then just clearing from 2nd story up to 3rd story, and you'll be absolutely fine. Really is that simple. But I thought I'd show you all of the spawns and then kind of what the actual key cards that are worth actually picking up from the event and trading in at Mechanic, because if you are interested, the actual tank batteries themselves are pretty much more valuable than if you were to actually buy the actual cards, because they're sitting at 1.2 million, which makes most of the barter trades that you can do pretty much irrelevant and less money than what you will actually do. So in order to get a yellow key card, you need 3, which is 3.6 million, but you can buy a yellow off the flea market for 2.3. You can also do the same for basically every single key card here. The only one that is kind of somewhat worth it is the black key card, which is 2.6, but yeah, I mean, you still have to pay the tax on the military batteries if you do sell them, so it makes it slightly better to do the barter trades. So factor that into when you're actually selling those military batteries, and of course these prices are going to fluctuate all over the place, so of course check every single time when you are deciding either to sell those batteries or just buy the key cards. So with that being said, I thought I'd give you all of the spawns and show you some of the things that I do. Preferably Dorms is where it's at, and of course don't forget Dorms Marked Room keys seem to be nerfed given how many runs that we've done and basically got like barely any key cards, especially considering I averaged about 1 key card every raid for about 40 keys. To go from 1 key card every raid roughly with double spawns, triple spawns, to 1 key card in an entire key, I'm pretty sure that tells you everything that you need to know. So I would not be buying Dorms Marked Room keys to make money anymore. You'd be better off buying the RBPKPM, RBBK and RBVO, and then using those to get the key cards, and of course then trading the 1 out of 10 uses on all of those into a Dorms Marked Room key, and then selling the Dorms Marked Room key and then rinsing and repeating. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Of course, let me know in the comment section down below if you've got anything else to add to this, but yeah, I just wanted to show you where they are and the route that I would take typically for the run. So with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.